This is the Raw Life Health Show. Raw Life.
Hello everybody, this is Paul Neeson with the Raw Life Health Show, and today I want to talk about something I hear quite often when it comes to just eating a healthier diet, especially eating a raw food diet. People say it's too boring to eat a raw food diet. And I would have to say that it's boring to eat any other way to eat. For example, there are so many different types of foods in this world, and when you think about what a person actually eats, it's usually limited to 1 to 2 hands, maybe 5 or 10 things that that particular person chooses to consume in their diet. If a person eats meat, there's one type of meat. If a person eats fish, there's one type of fish. If a person eats cooked food, there's one type of cooked food. There aren't many variables. There's maybe you'll get that same dish in a different restaurant or a different place, but it's not that many choices you have when you think about all the different options that are out there. In other words, is how many new things do you taste each day, or do you get to taste? And when you look at, is a diet exciting or boring, I mean, that should be a big part of it. If you're eating the same old thing, even if you love it, eventually it's not going to be as exciting as it first was. But if you're continually tasting new things and you're able to get them at the best place and the best quality, then that's exciting, I think. And when it comes to fruits and vegetables, there's different varieties of fruits and vegetables, so many ones. You could have a different variety of a different fruit or vegetable every day for the rest of your life and possibly not come close to tasting all of them. For example, there are hundreds and hundreds of different types of mangoes. There are hundreds of types of bananas in different varieties. But even with that, so we look at a banana, and this is what a lot of people look at when they think of a raw food diet. They go, oh, I got to live a life on just bananas. That's what they think of. But it goes so much beyond that. And I'm going to ask you today this question. And now, before I ask you this, I never knew what a mango was until I was 20 years old. And as strange as that seems to many of you watching my channel, a good amount of people never heard or even tasted these things. I have a good amount of friends from New York City who's never tasted a mango, including my own sister. And they just can't wrap their head around the concept of something tasting so good and just being a fruit, because they're used to something like this. And these aren't even good in the store anymore because they're usually green unless you eat them ripe. It makes a big difference. But how many of you have ever seen this fruit? This fruit tastes like candy, literally. Better than candy. I mean, I could say candy tastes like this fruit. This is a persimmon. Now, there's many different varieties of a persimmon, but this persimmon here is a Hygeia persimmon. And when it gets really soft, it's ripe. So if somebody sees something like this in a store and it's hard and they cut it open and they eat it, it's going to taste like chalk. It's not going to taste good. And they're going to say, well, I don't like persimmons. This diet's boring. But if you let this get soft, I mean, this is so delicious you could stick a straw in it and suck out the juice, and it's amazing. And that's not how you do it. You cut it and you eat it. But it is absolutely amazing. It's a persimmon. But you have to know how to pick them and find them. Once you do, or even grow them even better, they are amazing. Now, there are many different varieties of persimmon. How many of you know what this fruit is? And I don't know how this fruit's going to show up on a green screen. Well, it might not show up on a green screen. It's green right now. But this is a black sapote. And this black sapote is also known as a chocolate pudding fruit. And a chocolate pudding fruit, literally, when it's ripe, looks like chocolate. And I would say it tastes much better than chocolate. Chocolate really doesn't taste good. And people say, that's crazy. Well, no, if you mix anything with sugar, it's pretty much going to taste good, and that's how you get chocolate. But chocolate cacao on a tree doesn't taste good. But anyway, persimmon and black sapote, these are just some examples of chocolate pudding fruit, of the amazing variety we have of different foods out there. So the next time somebody says, well, these foods don't taste good, or there's not a good variety, you got to look at why somebody would say such a crazy thing. And I used to say that because I didn't know either. Even mangoes, when I did first eat them, they weren't ripe, and they weren't a good variety. Now I get mangoes that just taste. My favorite mango is something called a lemon meringue mango, and it tastes like lemon meringue pie. But there's a whole bunch of different other ones, and people don't get an opportunity. Well, they have the opportunity to taste them, they just don't go and eat them. They'd rather eat a dead animal. They'd rather put a dead animal on their plate than to try one of these new exotic fruits. They're not even exotic anymore. I mean, these things grow in the United States. You can find them at the local store. Now, they are kind of expensive. These might cost $1 each in some places $2 each. But still, you're willing to spend $1 on a hamburger from McDonald's. You know, go spend $1 on this, and you can get them cheaper at other places. I got these particular ones were at a place where I got them 2 for $1, and if you grow them yourself, you're getting them for free. And actually, in the wild, these persimmons are much smaller, and they're just really, I can't explain. The smile on my face can tell you now how amazing these are. And if anyone had these, you understand what I'm talking about. But I'm just waiting for this one to get ripe here. And I just wanted to give you an example today of different types of fruits out there today. And I just saw a good video, but somebody was telling me, oh, you live in South Florida, so you can get all these right off the tree. Well, no. I mean, I met somebody who moved from the tropics up to where they're from in Canada. Because they say they get more variety of fruits and vegetables in Canada than they do in the tropics. And how so? Yes, maybe they're not grown in the tropics or grown in Canada. They have to be flown in there. But things are being flown from all around the world. So you can go to one store in Canada or the north climate of the United States, and you can get a better variety of fruits and vegetables than if you go to some Caribbean island and they're only growing, let's say, coconuts and bananas, and they don't have all these other fruits from different parts of the world. So you don't have to live in the tropics to be successful at this diet. Yes, eating foods as close to home as possible is best. Eating foods that right from the tree is ideal. But when you look at the subject of variety and keep things interesting and not get bored, living in the north is probably the ideal place to be, or at least a big city, where these things might not necessarily grow, but they're shipped in. And so if you're looking at it from a viewpoint of variety and this, that would be not a bad thing to do, to live in a place like that. I can go to my local market here, and I could find stuff from all over the world. And on the trees, there's only one fruit at that particular season, or one particular type of fruit from that season. And I like to eat fruits in season, but it might be in season somewhere else. And I could still eat them in season if I'm eating somewhere else. But no, really, if when it's warm out, that's when you want to eat things that grow in a warmer climate. So watermelon doesn't really grow in a cold climate. So in the wintertime, I tend to stay away from watermelon, even if it's in season somewhere else. But as a general rule, that's a good idea. So you might say, well, in Canada it might be cold and they can't grow these tropical fruits, so it might be okay in the summertime to eat these, but is it okay to eat tropical fruits in the wintertime? Well, ideally you want to eat things that's okay in the season, but remember, you're not outside running around naked. You're in a house that's probably more tropical or hotter than it is outside in the tropics often. So you want to look at these things when you look at your full environment and everything else. And so like for bananas, for example, they grow in the tropics. But you can eat them all year where you live if you're in a house that's pretty warm. But I wouldn't stand outside in the snow and eat bananas. So, yeah, I don't know if you get my point, but put your comments or questions below the video if you do or you don't. So I just wanted to bring that up today and let you know that don't let anything or any excuse or anyone stop you from eating a healthier diet. And just a lot of things that people don't know. I won't call them excuses necessarily, because a lot of people just don't know. But the majority of people never heard of or tasted a persimmon, and they definitely haven't heard of or tasted a chocolate pudding fruit. And once your eyes are open to these things, they're just all over, and it's pretty amazing. I'm actually, I have this sticker here. It's green, so I'm not going to show it, but it has a picture of well, I'll try not to show up, it's the green screen, but it has a picture of some lychee on there. And you look about my garden, and I show my trees all the time. I got stuff growing, and as they grow, I'll let you guys know. But that's what we say about our adventures in the raw food world. It helps you, the raw food diet, and the raw food everything. We keep growing. It's all about growth, right? All right, folks, so check it out. Go to your local store, your local, whatever you want to call the store, your local bodega or supermarket, and try to eat something you've never eaten before. And look it up on the internet and see how to eat it ripe and make sure it's ripe and all that good stuff. And then enjoy. And let us know your experience below the video. Until then, have a great day and a great raw life.
Nature's wealth, good for your health. This is the Raw Life Health Show. Raw Life. brighten up your life.